Hey, it's Tuesday at noon. We're doing our weekly live. This week, Erika Stallings is joining us. Super excited to talk about her, her story, her advocacy work. She is pretty, hello, thanks for joining. Erika is really active with the Vassar Center and with Bright Pink. She'll be telling us a little bit about her story, her advocacy work. Hi, Irina. Hopefully she'll be on any second. I just jumped off and jumped on again because I was having some technical issues. So hopefully, hi Lisa, we'll work this out. And I'm really excited to talk about all the different ways that Erika and I are overlapping and collaborating. She does some really amazing work, and I'm sure many of you have seen her on our platform before. Let's see if we can get this going. Erika, when I try to invite you, it just has a little thing next to your icon that says unable to join. So if you can try requesting and I can say yes. Let's see if that works out. Yeah, Instagram has really been, every week it feels like there's something new happening. Erika, it could be because your account is private. I wonder if that's why. Yeah, I've never had this happen before. I can see Erika on the list, and when I try to ask her to join, it just says unable to join. Yeah, cool, thank you. All right, we'll work it out. So Erika and I are just gonna have like chat, conversational. Yeah, me too, Irina. The new Instagram format leaves something to be desired. Sometimes the changes are not for the better. It's because the algorithm is getting altered. Okay, keep my mouth shut. I hope that the changes will be good and be a little bit more user-friendly. I'm going to edit this part out and we'll do an intro again before I post it because this is a little bit sloppy. If any of you guys watching have questions that you want to ask Erika or me, or things that you want to hear about or want us to talk about, we are collaborating in a number of ways. Erika is an amazing advocate for women of color getting access to screening and care and education. She is also really involved in the Vassar Center and Bright Pink. She's a beautiful writer. She's a wonderful public speaker. She's very funny. I've heard her deliver some really intense but heartfelt and charming and humorous accounts of her own experience as a woman living with BRCA. And let's see if we can get it going. Hopefully this is gonna work soon. Erika, do you want to, we can jump off and start again too, if that is easier? Okay, let's see, we're gonna try one more time. Hopefully this is gonna work. Nope, it still says unable to join. What a bummer. Hello. Erika, if you try from your end, yeah, I'm on my phone too. I think it only works on the phone. Can you request to participate? Do you see that at the bottom of your screen? All right. Sweet, hopefully this is gonna work. Otherwise, if somebody else wants to say hi, maybe we can just do that. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. I think it's gonna work. We got this. Oh, you declined. I'm gonna try one more time. All right, let's see. Hopefully this is gonna go. It looks like it's asking you. Amazing, hi. We did it.
I know, hold on. I'm gonna like send an email to people at the office. For those of you who don't know, I actually like work at Facebook, which I don't really publicize, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's always good to have a man on the inside. Thanks for
yeah.
But it'll be funny. You can have them watch the awkward beginning where I try to introduce you 7 separate times while we figure it out.
Well, I think the problem is, like, I always have, you know, I have a Facebook phone, and so they're always pushing the beta version of whatever Instagram is to you. And so I think a lot of times it's just buggy because they're trying to like try new stuff.
Right.
And then, you know, obviously with everything around, you know, like whenever the algorithm is kind of like always getting silently tweaked in the backgrounds, it just like causes more problems. So I apologize, but we did it.
We did it. We got here. That's all that's important. It's so good to see you. I know we talk about you and share basically everything that you write and the events that you're doing on Brilliantly all the time. But do you want to do like just a quick intro about who you are and your background?
Yeah. So thanks everyone for being patient. My name is Erika Stallings. I am an attorney. I'm also a writer, and even I'm trying to get more comfortable with saying this, a BRCA awareness advocate. So I was diagnosed with a BRCA2 mutation 6 years ago, actually. And actually, December 1st was the 6-year anniversary of my preventative mastectomy. And after my own experience, I just started doing a lot of research and some writing, which I'm sure we'll talk about, and really learned about all these racial disparities that impact hereditary cancer. So currently, I co-chair the Young Leadership Council at the Vassar Center for BRCA. If you don't know the Vassar Center, it's a comprehensive research center at UPenn, and all they do is research BRCA-related cancers. So the Young Leadership Council, we do educational events, and we also raise money to support research. I also just recently partnered with the Vassar Center to launch Black and BRCA, which is an initiative that will provide tailored information to the Black community about hereditary cancer, genetic counseling, testing, and familial risk. And I've also been working over the past few months with Bright Pink, with them on their outreach strategy to Black women. So there's like 1,000 things that need to be done, which is why I'm always doing like 1,000 things.
Yeah, I mean, it's such important work. The statistics really are staggering. And I don't want to like put you on the spot, but are there statistics that you can quote off the top of your head about like the racial disparity in outcomes for breast cancer specifically?
Yeah, so, you know, according to the most recent data from Centers for Disease Control, right now in the United States, Black women are 42% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women, and there are numerous factors that impact that, right? We know that Black women get diagnosed at later stages when it's, you know, less treatable. Black women are much more likely to be diagnosed at a younger age, and so there's all these issues about, you know, currently mammogram screening guidelines are either age 40 or in some instances, some organizations recommend 50. But if you have a population of people who are getting breast cancer much earlier, right, how are we reaching those people? We also know that there are issues with, you know, access to care. There's implicit bias issues. There was like a recent study that came out last month sort of looking at breast cancer outcomes in Black women. And even when Black women have insurance, even when they have I guess what you'll call like higher SES, socioeconomic status, they still experience delays in starting their cancer treatment, and they often have a prolonged cancer treatment. And then when we specifically are talking about, you know, hereditary cancer, I mean, we could probably do like several action labs about racial disparities in hereditary cancer. But I think a big one, which is why I do so much writing and speaking, is that I think the general population, even physicians, don't think of Black women or Black individuals as people who carry BRCA mutations. So they're not having the conversations with them about family history, referral to genetic counseling and testing. But actually, there's a study that just came out last month that was looking at BRCA prevalence rates amongst patients in Michigan. And the rate of BRCA mutations in the African American population was really high. Like wow. In the study, it was like 8.1 in African Americans and like 9.1 or 9.2 in Ashkenazi Jews, right? So, you know, then there's issues about, do we have good data? So yeah, racism and everything.
Yeah, really, it really is. And, you know, I think I have Asian friends who have found out they have genetic mutations and had to really advocate for testing, like so much so that they were like betting their doctor, like, I'll pay for this out of pocket if it comes back negative. But there is just that inherent, like, oh, well, Black women don't have these mutations, or it's really astonishing. And I think, you know, there's so much missing data.
Yeah. I remember there's this, I spoke at National Society of Genetic Counselors last month on a panel about diversity and inclusion. And there's a study that I always say, it was looking at how the differences between like how Black women who are high risk manage their high risk and white women. And one of the women in the study, Black woman, talked about, she went to her doctor and she was like, I have a family history of cancer. I think I need genetic testing. And he was like, you don't have to worry about that. Like, only Jewish women come back positive for BRCA mutations, right? And so I just think, yeah, I think there's this really big awareness piece, which is why I am excited about this project I'm working on with Vassar, and then just all the other miscellaneous writing I'm trying to do.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you're such a beautiful writer, and you've been published in so many really impressive outlets. It's great to see, and I think the more we talk about it, the better it's going to get. But it just seems like how are we not farther along in this way? I'd love to hear a little bit more about the program with the Vassar Center. Like, I obviously know it happens. I talk to you pretty regularly, but yeah. What is the like, what's it going to do? What's the mission, and how are we chipping away at that, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, so I guess to give a little bit of context, since they got started, the Vassar Center has obviously done a lot of outreach in the Jewish communities, right? Because we know in the Jewish community it's 1 in 400. And then in 2018, they launched a partnership with Alejandra Campoverdi, who used to work in the Obama administration, Latinx and BRCA. And really the main goal of that project was to provide information about genetic counseling and testing in Spanish. Because when Alejandra was going through her journey, she never saw any Spanish language information about this, and to also provide culturally competent information. And so Black and BRCA just launched in September, but really sort of like the high level goals of, I think, the project and what I really want to do with this project, I think first is really what I'm talking about, like the awareness campaign. So we're working on creating a video that would really, I think, what I want to do is really just explain to Black individuals like what genetic counseling is. That's a question that I get a lot from people. Right. They're like, someone told me to talk to a genetic counselor, and I don't know what a genetic counselor is, right? And so I think at a base level, providing information that sort of demystifies that process. And so we're working on taping videos with some of the genetic counselors at Vassar.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'm also working on, I feel like sometimes people hear my story like enough, and people are like, oh, you're a good speaker. I'm like, but other people should be talking. So working to also recruit from women I know, Black women I know who have BRCA mutations, working on getting some blogs and video posts up. And, I think a couple of years ago, my battery's low. I feel like a couple of years ago, I would have said like, no, that's like, who cares if there's a blog? But again, there's research that like when Black women don't see themselves in campaigns or awareness campaigns, they actually underestimate their risk of having something, right? So that's also going to be a big part of it. I already have a blog up talking about like my experience with learning that I carry a BRCA2 mutation. I'm working on recruiting some other stories and videos as well. And then I think like down the road, one thing I would really like to do is actually create a scholarship for to fund more Black genetic counselors. So in the United States, only I think 1% of genetic counselors are Black, right? And we know that patients have better experiences when they see racially concordant providers. So that's a longer term goal. But I think overall, it really is just having like a central resource so that like, if you are a Black person and someone's like, or tells you you need to talk to a genetic counselor, that you have a mutation, you have a place that you can go and you can see sort of your experience reflected.
Yeah, it's so important. It's such a multifaceted problem too, right? Like we've talked about this. It also, not only is it up to you to advocate for yourself and to understand what it means, but it's also doctors. There are so many doctors who don't understand and say these things that, we know are ignorant. I think I've told you this. I went to, just for my annual PAP, and my doctor was delivering a baby. And so I saw another doctor in the practice, and she was looking at my chart, and she said, oh, I see you've had a preventative mastectomy. When are you having your ovaries removed? And I said, well, I don't have a mutation that would suggest I should. And no one in my family's ever had ovarian cancer. And she said, well, wouldn't you just want to do it anyway? And I was like, what? No, does anyone want to just have their ovaries removed for fun? And I was 35. It's just I think, and if I didn't know so much about it, that might have sent me into a tailspin, right? Like it feels like we need to have this entire approach that gets people, doctors, patients, genetic counselors, like it's a whole puzzle that has to get sorted out and remade.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of the things I talked about in my NSGC talk, which is, again, something, once we get some more, like, I guess, time and steam with the Black and BRCA initiative, is also to really have a symposium around this issue. I feel like I talk to a lot of, I talk to researchers, I talk to genetic counselors, I talk to patient advocates, right? But when you really think about what I call the life cycle of going through genetic counseling and testing and taking preventative means, there's so many like entry points and exit points and so many people involved. You really need all those people like at the table, sort of figuring out like how to tackle this problem. And then I think too, other issues that, that I want to work on with this project as well, is also like really helping people come up with like good tools to also talk about this with their families.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember when, Chadwick Boseman, passed away from colon cancer. And then I don't know if people saw, but his brother also had cancer, right? And so I read that and I was like, well, clearly there's probably some like hereditary thing going on here, right? But like, has anyone had a conversation with them about genetic testing? Are they having conversations as a family? And I also talked to so many of my friends who were like, yeah, like my grandmother had cancer and we never talked about it. Right. And so also, how do you just help people collect and like share family health history information? And then also, I think also talking about giving more people information about what to do. Like if you don't have a BRCA1 or a BRCA2 mutation, but let's say you have like PAL-B or a TP53, or you come back with a variant of unknown significance, right? Which we know is more common to happen in Black people because we're not in these databases. And so also providing information on risk management when you have a less common
right
cancer mutation.
Yeah, it's really challenging. So are you actively looking for women to feature, like Black women who have BRCA in this initiative with Vassar? Like, are you mining sort of your own friend and professional groups for these people, or can people reach out to you about it?
Yeah, please reach out to me. I mean, obviously, you can see my IG handle, and my Gmail is my name, so it's erika.stallings@gmail.com. I mean, I have been just sort of reaching out to people I know, but I also have a full-time job, so like anything that helps me is really good.
Yeah.
And also too, in addition to reaching out to me about that, I actually just got an email this morning about a study at Virginia Commonwealth University that's also looking for Black women with BRCA mutations, or Black women who have had breast cancer before the age of 50 for a study. So also reach out to me about that as well, and I can forward that information.
If you forward me the email, we'll share information and stories too, so people can read if they qualify. I'm on a few different mailing lists, like the Susan Love, and anytime I see that they're looking for people for a study, I post it, because that feels like the silver lining to this shitty storm that we're all in together. Is like, if there's a way to give back, if there's a way to have your experience help improve future outcomes, at least I feel like it's my job to do that too, anytime I can.
Yeah. And you asked me like how people can get involved. So, one thing I'm also looking for is sort of organizations to partner with to do educational events. So I just learned about this really great organization in Atlanta called Painted Pink for Breast Cancer that I need to have a conversation with. But I'm always looking for organizations and audiences to, do educational panels with, Black sororities, Black fraternities, people who have large IG followings, right? The more people who hear this really creates like a domino effect.
Yeah, awesome. So is the best way to reach out to you Instagram, email? We'll link all of your stuff in the notes from this. Awesome. Well, I also just wanted to touch on all of the ways that and thank you publicly in front of the world for all of the ways that you've helped me. Brilliantly has an advisory board that Eric has been on almost since the beginning, because I found you online. I saw an article that you read or wrote, and then I stalked you and invited you to dinner, and it turned out really well.
That was great.
Yeah, it turned out really well for me. And also, we're co-hosting with Tiffany, who was on here a minute ago. I don't know if she's still on. Hi, Tiffany. The Breast is History, this event series. We had one last week that was really great on caregiving, and hopefully we'll be doing those about I mean, kind of monthly, sort of,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody out there who's looking to tell your story or is interested in a specific topic that you haven't, oh yeah, you're still here. You can reach out to me or Erika or Tiffany and let us know. You know, we're looking to address topics that aren't getting addressed, or or share stories from people who haven't shared them before and really need to, or have an important message. And that can be around race, that can be around IVF, that can be around fitness, nutrition, dating, whatever you guys feel like hearing about, let us know.
Yeah, and also too, like that's how, you know, some I like to rate, particularly about, you know, race and health, and I always like ideas, you know, so if people have ideas for stories or things that are on your mind, I usually find that's where I get the best ideas from for, you know, new articles. I actually do want to give a shout out to I think someone a lot of people on here know. She's a breastie, Brianna, who is an editor at Everyday Health. And we're working, or she commissioned me to work on a piece about racial health disparities in breast reconstruction, which I'm going to be working on this month. You know, unfortunately, like almost every part of the cancer journey, there are disparities in who gets access to, you know, breast reconstruction, right? Which we know is also like a really important part of the treatment and healing process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
When is that coming out?
So my goal is to like turn in a draft by the end of the month. And so probably like, it'll probably be out in like early January. And then this is not cancer related, although it is health related. So I think it's important. Something I also really want to write about. So if there's anyone on this live, or if you know someone, is about Black women who have used IVF or surrogacy or adoption to have children, sort of alternative paths to motherhood. I think that's something that isn't talked about generally, and then is definitely not talked about enough in the Black community. So that's like an idea that I haven't pitched yet, but it's something I want to do, like in Q1 of 2021.
Yeah, awesome. I think that's such an important topic. Somebody from the breast cancer community reached out to me to say, can we do an event that's not about IVF, that's about adoption and other ways of making a family if you're someone in this community? Because, you know, we get, there's very specific messaging that we get around all kinds of different things. And if the goal is to like disrupt that messaging or offer potential other new solutions, you know, I think I know a few people in the breast cancer community who've adopted, and they've been really quiet about it. So I think it's something that we could chat about from a number of different angles, especially race.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was, see, I spent too much time on social media. But someone she's actually an editor at Bitch Magazine. She is going through surrogacy. And she tweeted, she's like, there are no stories, right, from Black women about going through surrogacy. And I really wish I had those to like look at. And I was like, oh, that's like a story, an idea.
Yeah, so, totally.
Yeah.
Well, we should put a call out on that too.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining today, and all of the work you do. I don't know where you find the time and energy to do all of the things that you're doing. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, I will say I will give a shout out to my partner. Actually, not just my. It's like a very new engagement, so I like have to get used to saying like my fiance and not my partner. But my fiance is really great and really brilliant, and actually does like all the cooking in our household. It's also just like very supportive. Of all the things that I do, and so that very much like enables me to run around and do all the other stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's awesome, and congratulations. I'm going to raise my tea to you.
Yeah.
Tiffany says fiance in all caps. Yeah,
I know.
And of course, best wishes to you both. I think it's such a happy thing to hear good news this year. Like, this has been just such a shitstorm of a year, and it's nice to hear that people are thriving and loving each other and moving forward in a positive way.
Yeah, no, definitely. And yeah, and thank you for, I'll take any opportunity or outlet to talk about these issues. So I really, and also like, just thank you for being like a good friend. I remember we had wine for the first time. I'm so glad I wrote that piece about dating, which is how we met and everything. So yeah. I also want to say, I appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thank you. It's mutual. Awesome. Well, I'm going to post this into the feed now and put a bunch of links, and I will talk to you soon. And if anybody wants to reach Erika or me or has more to say, reach out at any time. We are all ears. All right. Have a great afternoon, Erica.
Bye.
Bye-bye.